Governor Mike Huckabee joins us now. Governor, good to see you. Good morning.
Thank you, Matt. Great to be here.
It seems to me the irony here is you're taking a pro-Israel stance, but in explaining that stance, you have offended people in Israel and Jews all around the world.
Hardly.
Heartily. The Israeli ambassador to the United States calls your words inappropriate. Some fellow Republicans have called them offensive and outrageous, and the Anti-Defamation League spokesperson called them completely out of line and unacceptable, and you're not backing down an inch.
Not at all. In fact, the response from Jewish people has been overwhelmingly positive. The response from Holocaust survivors, from the children of Holocaust survivors. I was last night in an event. I was probably one of 4 Gentiles in the entire event. It was a Jewish event. People were overwhelmingly supportive.
But we're hearing from people who are saying just the opposite.
You're hearing from the ADL. You're hearing from the Democrats.
We're hearing from people who, by the way, like you, oppose the Iran nuclear deal.
Well, and some of them just need to go back and read what the Iranians themselves said. They said, we have developed the missiles that will replace Israel with a big Holocaust. That's their words.
But that's their words.
Yes,
Why
it is.
would a presidential candidate echo those words? Let me ask you this. If you're elected president and you are the one negotiating with the Iranians in the future, would you stand in the Oval Office and address the American people and say, my fellow Americans, I'm rejecting the Iranian deal because it will march the Israelis to the door of the oven? Would you say that as President of the United States?
Matt, here's exactly what I would say. I would say we don't trust people who have threatened to kill Israel, threatened to wipe them off the map, who have said that they are glad that they're congregated in Israel because it makes it an easy target and that they are a one-bomb country.
As President of the United States, would you use the words, march the Israelis to the door of the oven?
Yes, I would. And let me tell you why. Because I have been to Auschwitz 3 times. I have stood at that very place. I've been to Israel dozens of times. My first trip there was 42 years ago. The one thing I am absolutely assured of is that for 6,000 years, Jews have been hunted down. And the last time the world did not take seriously threats against the Jewish people, just before World War II, this ended up in the murder of 6 million Jews.
But as President of the United States, you would use words to express your policy and your views on Israel, even if they offended millions of Jews around the world.
Matt, we need to use strong words when people make strong threats against an entire group of people, as the Iranians have made toward the Jews. This is not empty talk on the part of the Iranians. This is something that they consistently say, even as we're sitting down having a negotiation with them, and they're crying out death to America. My gosh, what kind of negotiation is that?
Answer the critics, Governor, who say that you and some other Republican candidates are doing and saying anything right now simply to be heard over the roar of Donald Trump. Is there some truth to that?
No, there's not, and I'll tell you why. If I was going to make noise about this, don't you think I'd have a better forum than a weekend satellite radio show that I didn't think that many people would even be listening to?
Well,
I wasn't the one who blew it up.
You end up here.
Because you invited me.
Sure, because of the comments.
But I will continue to say it. And by the way, it's nothing that I haven't said for the past 42 years, having been in and out of Israel and having been a strong believer that the reason that the Holocaust happened was because so many people naively believed Neville Chamberlain's ridiculous statement that we're going to bring peace in our time. And we ended up seeing 11 million people murdered, 6 of whom are Jews who were marched to those very ovens that I've stood in front of.
In about a week, there's going to be the first debate on the Republican side. It appears, based on polling numbers, that you'll be on that stage, along with the frontrunner, Donald Trump. Do you think it's time for you and other Republicans to stop treating him as some kind of a sideshow and start treating him as a real candidate and ask him his views, his policies, and his vision for the future of this country?
Well, I've never treated him as a sideshow. I mean, anybody who's got $10 billion is a player in an election because he can afford to make things happen. And, you know, he's striking a nerve with a lot of people. But my job is not to react to Donald Trump. My gosh, he's getting all the attention he needs without my help. My job is to focus on what I stand for, talk about how to get jobs back in this country, talk about how to keep America safe, and how to return to our basic moral conscience as a country. And those are the issues that I'll be focusing on. I'll swim in my lane. I'll let Donald Trump swim in his.
Governor, it's always good to have you here.
Thank you, Matt. Great to be with you guys.
It's a pleasure.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.